Not a great night, and we were just talking also about how it's getting darker earlier. So it's 7 o'clock, but it almost feels like it's 9 o'clock, right? So I thank you for joining us tonight. My name is David Serow. I see some new faces and some faces that have been with us before. I am the founder of HOW is an acronym for Heart of Wellness, and what we attempt to do at our monthly meetings is to provide you with some what we call information that we hope will become inspiration to maybe make some type of little change or continue to doing what you're doing to have a healthy heart and a happy heart. We focus on what we call the tripod for a healthy heart: movement, nutrition, and then the foundation, which is an acronym for attitude, relationships, and emotions. So the programs that we have generally will touch upon one of these subjects. Last month and this month, and for the past couple of months actually, we've really been focusing on the foundation for a healthy heart. So the subjects that we've been talking about relate to either attitude, relationships, or emotions. And we really have gotten into the mindful wellness concept of theory. You have a program for the evening. You can see in the back we have that tripod, and then inside, much of what we'll be talking about tonight, I have sort of the bullet points. You have a pen with you. So we do encourage you to take notes if there's something that you hear that you don't see, or some type of thought that comes to mind. And we're now into September. In September, what happens? Children go back to school, correct? So we're gonna try to do this a little bit more like a classroom, where I may at times turn to you and ask for maybe some feedback, some thoughts, or some ideas, because this isn't anything where we have all the answers by any means. So it is always helpful when we can really sort of share some thoughts and some ideas as to what some particular concept may mean to one another. Okay? If you notice this young lady in this photo, looks like this young lady up front, it is because it is this young lady. We're fortunate to again have Alicia joining us this evening. She was with us last month, and she has a lovely voice and songs that really always seem to have a tie-in to what we are talking about for the evening. It just seems like either we have developed programs that tie into what her songs say, or her songs tie into what we are trying to teach. So it's been sort of
It's all a mystery.
It's all a mystery, yeah. And we've been working together now for...
I love to hang out with David, though, because he calls me a young lady, which is amazing. Because I was teaching young children all day, so I'd like to come here and be young. Only on Cape Cod.
Well, that's because I remember you when you were in high school.
I know, it's great.
Yeah,
You keep me
yeah.
there in a certain way in your
That's right.
consciousness,
That's right.
which is awesome.
So, with that being said, I think I'm going to let Alicia open it up with an opening reflection song to really sort of set the mood for the evening, and to get us kind of focused into tonight.
Yeah, so this part you can put your pen down. You don't have to think. I'm going to open with a song called Sweet September, because it's September. And as I was driving over here, I really was like, oh wow, look at all the leaves that have fallen. And this song begins with a chant called Om Namo Guru Dev Namo, which is a part of a certain kind of practice. And tonight we're talking about mindfulness and compassion, and using sound and using chants, and even just laying down and with your eyes closed and listening to a piece of music can help bring you into more relaxed state. Music's very powerful, so I invite you, if you're willing and if you're able, to uncross your legs and put your feet flat on the floor. And even though we're in school, we're gonna also really kind of become aware of our bodies and just take some deep breaths so we can begin becoming mindful right from the beginning. So as David shares his information, and it actually can hit us on a cellular level versus just like in our heads, right? Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Sweet September, slowly coming on with your cool, brisk air, rushing through my lungs. Oh, sweet September on Cape Cod. I'm so happy to be home. Sweet September, rinsing the fear on out. No more room for anything. Yeah, we're clearing out the doubt. Oh, sweet September on Cape Cod. I'm so happy to be home. And as the seeds that I have planted through these years grow into trees of joy and love, and as I serve here and now this native land, may I be all that I am. Sweet September, sweet September. Sweet September, with your falling leaves and perfect sky. Thank you for showing me to truly live. You have to let yourself die. Oh, sweet September on Cape Cod. I'm so happy to be home. Sweet September on Cape Cod. I'm so happy to be home.
As I said, not only does she have a lovely voice, but all the songs you sing are songs that you have written, pretty much, correct?
Yeah.
And how many songs do you
Have I written in my lifetime?
that
A lot of songs.
that you recorded?
I have like 4 CDs, so you know, like kind of 12 each. I don't
Yeah,
know.
about
I
50
mean,
songs.
Yeah, lots of songs.
Yeah.
Lots of, so I have lots of songs I never wrote down. My mom would always yell at me. Oh, you're forgetting those songs.
I think it was pretty appropriate, Sweet September.
Yeah, this is good. I was feeling the energy of it as I was driving over here, you know, it's all, when we think about attitude, right? How do we look at the it's getting darker? How do we look
Right.
at the leaves on the ground? Do we see ourselves a part of nature? Do we embrace the change of season? Like we live in New England, right? So for me, that song was about the joy and amazingness of September.
Yeah, great, thank you. So the theme that we have been talking about for the past couple months is mindfulness and really mindful wellness. To go back to about 4 months ago, we had a documentary called The Connection, which talked about the connection between the mind and the body. And then we had a documentary 2 months ago called Mindfulness Goes Mainstream. And then last month we really started to talk about mindful wellness. And this is a continuation of that. This is one of the slides that we showed last month. So with these, the definition is your mind full, okay, full of so many things that you sometimes can't think straight, or you don't know what to focus on, and you get stressed out because you just have so much going on and going through your mind. Or are you mindful, where you have a clear understanding as to what you are dealing with at the present moment? Mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally, with open curiosity, kindness, warmth, and compassion. As Alicia just made reference to, an attitude. It's really an attitude as to how you look at life on a daily basis. One thing that we talked about last month, and we've talked about this a couple times, is Blue Mind. And Blue Mind is a research that was done by a doctor out on the West Coast as to why we are so attractive to the water, wanted to be in the water, on the water, and near the water. And he really sort of focuses, it's a very interesting YouTube video. He talks about what our mind, what our body goes through, because it's such a large percentage of water. Okay? And when he talks about a red mind or a blue mind, a red mind is somebody who is stressed. A red mind is somebody who is quick to anger. A red mind is somebody who doesn't seem, is a pot half full or half empty. To them it's always half empty. And it's somebody who always has something to complain about and is always dealing with some type of drama in their life. I don't know, anybody know anybody like that?
No.
No. A blue mind is just the opposite, obviously. It's somebody who is more calm and understanding and compassionate, and is easy, it deals with some of the difficulties that we all face in life on a daily basis. But they can handle that difficulty when it arises because of that. Mindfulness changes the brain to help us feel happier and healthier, as well as become more present in our relationships, in our home life. The best cure for your body is a quiet mind, right? The best cure for your body is a quiet mind. A quiet mind is a still mind. A still mind is an untroubled mind. An untroubled mind is a peaceful mind. And a peaceful mind is a happy mind. So quiet your thoughts. Keep calm and connect your body and your mind. Calm mind. How often have you made decisions with a calm mind as opposed to making decisions with a stressed mind? Which decisions do you not regret, right? When you make a decision with a stressed mind, oftentimes it's probably maybe not the right decision, or you are making a decision that you are in actuality probably causing more harm than good, as opposed to making a decision where you have a quiet mind, a clear mind, and really take your opportunity to think about what it is you are going to do. A calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence, so that it's very, very important for good health. That's a quote by the Dalai Lama. What stress does to our body. Stress affects our body from head to toe. Okay? I firmly believe that 50, 60, 75% of illnesses or sicknesses that people have can relate to stress in their lives. The more stressed they are, the more apt they are going to be to have some type of illness or sickness. The more stressed they are, the more apt they're going to be to not be able to deal with just a common cold and get rid of a common cold. So the more stress that you have in your life, the more likely is that you're going to be more apt to have physical ailments also. I think I missed a slide. So let me go back. We're better?
Oh, yeah.
There's a story, usually attributed to the Native American tradition, which illuminates different ways of paying attention. An elder, talking to a child, says, "I have two wolves fighting in my heart. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful. The other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful." The child asks, "Which wolf will win the fight?" The elder responds, "The one I feed." That doesn't mean we try to deny or hurt or kill the angry wolf. If we did that, we'd end up in a long battle, all the while somehow making that wolf more powerful through our hostility and fear. Hating that wolf sucks the strength right out of us. Instead, we calmly pay attention to the angry wolf and let go of believing they have the answers. If we can do that, they end up lying down next to us, no longer an enemy. We help strengthen the kind and loving wolf, giving it nourishment and support so that we can follow it. That peaceful wolf can become our steady companion and show us the way through all kinds of different life experiences. Restful or chaotic, enjoyable or disappointing experiences may come and go, but we can have a guide with us through it all. This is what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness allows us to see our thoughts and feelings as they are beginning. It's very powerful to know what we're feeling as we're feeling it, know what we're thinking as we're thinking it. With mindfulness, we can choose what will strengthen and bring into action, and we can choose what we will gently let go of. We don't have to be at the mercy of old habits or old ways of thinking or old ways of being. We are empowered. It just takes practice.
So I thought it was very appropriate that the one wolf was a blue wolf and the other one was a red one. And of course, the red one was the one that has all the anger and the resentment and so forth, and the blue wolf was the one that has the peacefulness and the compassion. So I thought that was a very appropriate video to play. So let me go through this. And So, I'm gonna turn it back over to Alicia and let her.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, it's so funny, I'm like, oh, I have to write a song about this, but I haven't written the song yet. So I'll just reflect on that story. I think one of the most powerful parts of that animation for me at this point where I am in my journey is that you don't deny or fight or try to get rid of the red wolf or the red mind. It's really important that you don't go into that. Because a lot of people do, and I've done it, and it doesn't work. And it makes it worse. So, you know, that balance of understanding we are all human and we're having all those experiences, and the mindfulness just helps us notice it. So we don't necessarily, we can take a pause and not necessarily act, creating more, right? So I just say that because sometimes it just seems so easy and it's so simple. It's like, be peaceful, have a peaceful mind. And I'm like, have you been inside my mind? Like, what are you talking about, right? So I just, as someone who's practiced this stuff for a while, to just remember if that resonates for you, yeah.
Well, by recognizing it too, and even if it's sad emotions or angry emotions or whatever, by identifying them, it separates you from them and it gives you space. And by creating that space, it eliminates the power. I mean, you're identifying the emotion, but it's not having the power over you.
Yes. And that reminds me of, does anyone read any Brene Brown? Is anyone into any Brene Brown? Oh, write her name down, Brene Brown. Have you read any Brene
No,
Brown?
no.
Okay, everyone needs to read Brene Brown. She has videos on YouTube, so it looks like Brene, B-R-E-N-E, Brene Brown. She has all these talks on TED Talk. She did a talk of the power of vulnerability. She studies shame. But one of the things she just said, which is, I'm just saying it because it reminds me of what you just said, was that she talks about the difference between guilt and shame. So guilt is, I did something bad. Shame is, I am bad. Right? So with mindfulness, so shame cannot live when compassion and empathy are present. That's a fact. Shame cannot grow when compassion and empathy are present. So if we become aware of shame within our own being through our mindfulness practice, which if you're a human being, you probably have shame somewhere, right? You bring your own compassion and empathy to that and you transform it from within. And this is really deep. I mean, I'm talking very deep subconscious stuff right now. So, so on that note, I'll sing.
John, you okay with these lights on?
I'll sing May I Be at Peace. And I invite you to maybe reflect on some of these things we're talking about. And when I sing, a very healing vibration is created. So if you notice some red wolf things, or even you notice back to a moment today where you accessed your red wolf, or whatever that means to you, and you want to just soften with it, create some space, give it a hug, give your red wolf a hug. You can do that during this song, but then go feed the blue wolf. I mean, I guess you feed the blue wolf and then the blue wolf gives the red wolf a hug. I don't know. Anyways, so if you can, feel your feet, feel yourself in the chair. And this is a mindfulness prayer, actually. And the idea is it begins with, may I be at peace, and then it's may you be at peace, and then it's may we be at peace. So the first verse, you can really focus on yourself. Then maybe you could send the energy or think about somebody you'd like to share it with, either because you feel they need it, or you really don't like them. And you're like, I gotta shift that. And then we can just kind of bring the energy into this room. May I be at peace. May my heart remain open. May I awaken to the light, my own true nature. May I be healed. May I be a source of healing for all beings. May you be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May you awaken to the light, your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all beings. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. May we be healed. May we be a source of healing for all beings. For all beings, for all beings. Om Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you again.
Are you aware, I just heard today that we're in a period of time, I know this Friday is a crucial day, of a peace, prayer for peace, for world peace. You heard that?
But did that start? I got an email on 9/11. It was like 12 days for world unity.
Yeah, and
World
I think
peace.
tomorrow, Friday's supposed to be the day, there's gonna be prayers all around the world.
And of course,
So-
today is Yom Kippur, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Day of Atonement. yeah.
It's the equinox too.
Yes, this weekend is the
Yes, yes.
I'll be at the
So-
Love Yoga Fest in Falmouth. If anyone
Yeah.
wants to come down, there's going to be lots of yoga happening all weekend at the Seacrest Hotel.
And that's the whole meta prayer of may I be happy, safe, healthy, and at
Correct.
peace.
Right.
Correct.
And so this is a very powerful time for minds, like you said, collectively praying for world peace. And like I say, just put that vibration out there with intent.
So mindfulness, there's so many different descriptions or adjectives that relate to mindfulness. Last month, we talked about gratitude. This month, we're going to be talking about compassion and kindness. but you can see there's so many other parts of mindfulness that we can be talking about. Last month, we talked about the importance of having an attitude of gratitude. One of the books that we had, we used was this little book by a Derek O'Neill called Gratitude, an awesome book. When I read a book that is something that I'm going to be using for this program, I'll either highlight it, different parts of it that I think are appropriate, or I'll have a separate log book that I write down different pages. This book, if you saw my book, it's almost entirely highlighted in yellow. So. But anybody here have a September birthday? September birthday? Well, here you go. Nancy, happy birthday. You're welcome. A little bit more about that with one of the other books that we are going to be talking about this evening. Anybody else?
Kindness is our blue wolf, letting us meet every person for who and what they are without judgment, and being kind to, even if it's a red wolf.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect.
I love Native Americans.
Perfect.
With
You
no
can-
expectation of anything in return.
With no expectation of anything in return? Perfect. Great.
I was just thinking too, personally, and especially thinking about as a teacher, kindness to me is slowing down, like not needing my agenda. Like if you're in the classroom and you're teaching something, or you're out on the playground and suddenly someone falls, kindness is to be present, to slow down, to notice and be present for somebody versus being in your, and this is me personally, because I can get very focused on where I'm going and what I'm doing, and so kindness is being willing to slow down, be present.
Definition of kindness: quality or state of being friendly, generous, gentle, and considerate. When we feel love and kindness toward others, it not only makes others feel loved and cared for, but it helps us also to develop inner happiness and peace. Again, quote from the Dalai Lama. We all have many to-do lists that I'm sure we put together on a daily basis, right? What we need to do today. I know I have mine, and I kind of look at what I need to do. But maybe here's an interesting to-do list for today. 1, count my blessings, okay? Again, gratitude. Begin the day with an attitude of gratitude. Count your blessings. 2, practice kindness. 3, let go of what I can't control. So often we get hung up on something that we want to control but can't control. It gets frustrating, it stresses us out. Let go of what I can't control. Listen to my heart. Listen to my heart. So important. Be productive yet calm, and just breathe. A pretty important to-do list, right?
Our series of More Perfect Union aims to show that what unites us as Americans is far stronger than what divides us. This morning, we'll introduce you to a professor at Texas A&M University. He teaches his students not just through lectures, but also through actions. Omar Villafranca is at the university in College Station, Texas, with how kindness can be a very powerful tool in the classroom. Omar, good morning.
Good morning. Henry Musoma is a business professor here at Texas A&M, and if you look up above me, you can see that same hanging right there on the leadership banner. Now, every semester he has hundreds of students, but he makes it a point to try to learn their names so he can make some sort of personal connection. And now those students are showing the teacher what they've learned. Guess what happened? It's hard for students to fall asleep in Dr. Henry Musoma's class. Everybody stand up. He's always doing something extra. Extra engaged, extra supportive to the people he cares about most, his students.
I'm reminded of a friend of mine who said he's not an educator, he's an edutainer.
But it's not just in his teaching that Dr. Musoma has shown he's more than willing to do something extra. When Ashton Robinson told Dr. Musoma she couldn't come to class because she didn't have a babysitter, the answer was simple.
Bring him to class.
A little fussiness didn't keep the professor from finishing his lesson. For Jake Ross, Dr. Musoma meant so much to him that Jake's fiancée surprised him by having Dr. Musoma officiate their wedding. He even helped Elizabeth Pope find a job.
He knew that I loved business and medicine, and he immediately was like, you know, I've got the perfect job for you.
But how does someone learn to be kind? For Musoma, his education started more than 8,000 miles away, over 4 decades ago, in the African country of Zambia.
Both my parents worked hard. My father was one of the first people in his family to go to college.
Like his father, Musoma wanted an education, but an American one seemed out of reach.
No, sir, too far, too expensive.
But then he met Albert Cates, a U.S. State Department official who changed his mind.
How did he convince you? He said, here's my business card. Come to my office tomorrow. And guess what, Omar? That night, America, America, God shed his grace on me. I did not sleep. I was so excited. He gave me an idea.
What was it?
The possibility.
Cates helped Musoma immigrate to America in the mid-90s. After finishing community college, he earned a scholarship at Texas A&M, graduated, and started teaching. In his classes, he often brings up the story of Cates and possibility. A lesson Musoma's former student Sam White remembers well.
Talk about his journey to America, and at the end of every story, he would mention how that this man took him in, invited him to dinner, and convinced him to go to Texas to study.
So when it came time to pay back Dr. Musoma for all his kindness, Sam knew what to do.
The Starbucks card didn't feel right to me, right? So I was thinking, what can I do for him that would be awesome?
He scoured social media sites and government records. For 2 years, he searched and nearly gave up. Finally, a breakthrough with the help of Ancestry.com. He received an email from Cates and helped Musoma reconnect with the past.
I ran to the business school that morning with this email I printed out, and I was trying to play it cool, but of course I'm freaking out.
You're a wreck at this point.
Yeah, it's like, read this right now. It's like throwing it at him.
What was his reaction?
It was complete silence. So I wasn't totally prepared for that, because he's one of the most talkative people I've ever met, and he's always got something to say. So I handed the email, and he read through it, and then he put it in his pocket and said thank you. He gave me a hug.
Decades after their first meeting, Dr. Musoma and Albert Cates were reunited. A life of kindness that has come full circle.
When my son, Joshua, who's about to be 7, sees me in front of my students, and then when they leave, he looks at me and he wants to put on a little tie when I walk with him. And he says, Daddy, I love that you're kind. And when I'm gone, if that's what my son says of me, I'll rest in peace.
Now, one of the life lessons that Professor Musoma learned from his father was taking care of his extended family, and he now considers all the students here at Texas A&M part of his extended family, and that family is getting bigger every year. Nora?
Well, now he has a bigger family of our audience, and all love him. Omar, what a fantastic story.
Kindness costs nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Musoma. That's a beautiful piece, Omar. It is contagious. Beautifully done.